Good day, LA, and welcome to those of you watching from all around the world.
Bro, you're
I
screaming.
think turn the mic down.
No, I mean for the recording.
All right.
3,
Look.
2.
No, that's good. What do you mean? That didn't work?
It's
You
too
think
loud.
it didn't work? I'm not re-recording it. I think it worked.
You have to.
Bloody fuck off, mate.
All
right?
right, I'm so
I am
sorry.
Zach Goldsmith alongside my best mate at this table, Ben Bacal. And then to my left is a la izquierda, no, a la derecha is Ben Bacal. Or Tom Bacal. Anyway, guys,
Hello.
um,
Thank you for having me.
Don't
first
talk
of all,
during the
no
intro.
one talks during the
Don't talk
intro.
during the intro.
You ever seen this before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very LA.
Wouldn't have expected it from Bacal.
All right, bring us in.
Ben Bacal. Not to be confused with my co-host Benjamin Ira. I'm sure that happens to you guys all the time. One likes it more than the other.
I love it.
He has always positioned himself on the cutting edge of real estate. Since 2005, he's made a name for himself as one of the top real estate agents in all of the land, selling over $4 billion in sales, according to his website. I wouldn't mind seeing receipts. Not now.
He's
Don't
got the
rush.
receipts.
In 2009, Ben catapulted the median home sales price in 2 different neighborhoods, the Bird Streets and Truesdale, setting record prices and changing the landscape of this game. He continues to drive prices citywide through record-breaking sales, such as Marcus Person's house. We won't say where it is. He's not even here focusing to this
Unbelievable.
intro.
We're
You don't even know what we're
introducing
saying.
him.
This jackass motherfucker. He's like, I didn't hear you. Thank you for the intro. He's got.
This is great.
I was going over your record-breaking sales, like the
And
Marcus.
he's
I'm
looking
trying
at
to
a
get-
text, so he's got a listing appointment.
He's trying to do another one. Again, don't talk during the intro. Thank you so much. And don't be
I'm
on
just
your
gonna do
phone
this.
during the interview. We haven't had to say that yet either. Don't be on your phone during the intro.
We did to Jay
during
Lux.
your own intro. He's humble, guys. A couple of the record-breaking sales we'll get into: the $70 million Marcus Person house in Truesdale and the $94 million Bel Air sale. Those are just 2 of many under $100 million you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Ben's distinct honor and pleasure to welcome his doppelganger, Ben Bacal.
You're on one today. You
It's
can
the
speak
matcha.
now. You
It's
can
the
speak.
matcha.
Wow.
It's the matcha tea from Joe and the Jews. Joe and the Jews, creating great juice and coffee since 2012.
You finally let me talk with
He-
a button on. or
Sorry,
something.
Ben.
It's okay.
He's on Adderall today. Ben also is a founder of several apps, including his latest Rila, which Forbes called the Instagram of real estate. And now with his newly formed company, Revel Real Estate, whose goal is to transform the lives of luxury agents by offering an alternative to the traditional model.
You really gave a commercial just there.
I did.
wrote
I
that
did.
one?
Wait, Ben, I heard that back in the day, in your Keller Williams days,
Yeah.
that you really built your business and got momentum by door knocking in the Bird Streets. Is that true?
No, it was started in Venice Beach.
Who's your producer who feeds you this
Actually.
information?
But you didn't. Okay, as
I
a-
reviewed
hold
show
on,
notes
but
ahead
that's
of
Ben,
time.
where-
you just moved out
That's
of
where
frame,
things
pal.
really. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I thought you just came from a podcast, Mr. Podcaster over here.
But okay, while I'm excited to hear that you were knocking in Venice, it's a little bit easier. First of all, it's flat. It's not the steep terrain of the Bird Streets, and also it's probably, as a newer agent, presuming you were newer at that time, door knocking and prospecting. It could be a little intimidating. Were you a door knocker in the Birds?
I was.
You were.
Yeah.
And
I was actually a drive knocker.
what is that? Tell us about that.
Well, it eliminates the hill walk that you're
Yeah.
so concerned with.
Yeah, I pulled all my leftover scratch together, rented myself a nice Beamer and a couple suits, and I hit the pavement and knocked on as many doors as I could until somebody said, "Yeah, you look nice. Come on in." Did that and got my first listing in on Blue Jay Way, and happen. I did an open house. Open houses are great for business, right, guys? 'Cause
Yeah.
you meet some potential clients.
Yeah.
One of which was a noted celebrity, not going to name the celebrity, but he was impressed that I said, oh, not only do I have these 3 pocket listings, because I've been hunting your neighborhood for the last, last 2 months, but I have this one. The next day I got a phone call, and he's like, I would like you to show me. I'd like you to show Mr. X, Y, and Z these homes. And then I did that. And then he introduced me to a billionaire who then bought a big house from me in Truesdale for $20 million. And at that time, there was no comps in Truesdale to support a $20 million sale. So I had to use the Greystone Mansion as a comp.
Oh my God!
crazy.
From 1904.
Yeah, it's the only one, right? God, I'm really dating myself here, aren't I, guys?
The land was purchased for $75.
Yeah.
Popcorn was a nickel.
Paul Truesdale, right?
No. Okay, so
So that's how it all began.
well, so you said that you said
Really escalated quickly.
yeah,
But
you,
that didn't have that actually. I didn't get into the high end, and it took me 5 years to get there. And I think a lot of agents today, you'll agree in this office, they see our business and they think, I want to do this now, right? And they don't want to. They want to run before they walk, right?
oh my
It's like my thing about social media. It's like it's your highlight reel, right? So
Yeah.
it's like
I mean,
it's like they look at you and say like, I want that, and once they have to go out and grind, they're like, holy shit, I didn't see that along the way. That wasn't taught, So they fail. They pull back. They don't follow through.
All right, guys, you're
I
starting to
think we
sound
gotta-
old, like kids today.
Kids, I think we
When
gotta
you
just
s-
start posting more of the heartbreaking failures along the way, so they know that we all understand that failure is part of that success.
Wait, our show changes from having people like you on to like a bunch of young kids just complaining. I don't know what to do.
a bunch of old people.
Wait, hold on. Let's stay focused here. So you said that you were drive knockers, and it's funny because you said Blue Jay, which is what I thought of. So like you drive up into the Birds, you park at Blue Jay and Thrasher, and just walk all the way up and down. Is that what you mean?
No, he
I think I did-
drives
I think
house
I
to
did
house,
so- I
puts
think
it
I
in
did
park,
something.
Let
gets
him
out,
answer.
leaves the car running, house to house.
Sorry, dude. He's fired up. I don't know why he's so fired
think
up.
what-
Well, you
Eventually
got to
just-
let the guest
Maybe
answer.
he did a half block. Would you park at the bottom, do a half block, come back down, then drive up? I'm interested to know that.
I think what people are interested to know about today is probably like the survival, right? Everyone in our business is like, how am I going to survive in today's world? And I think as leaders,
Yeah.
us 3, we should be helping our colleagues out. So it's beneficial to us all to show them the way, right?
Yeah.
And in today's market, it's tough. People are down on themselves because things are not churning like they were. I mean, to be honest, right? All of our businesses have gone down a little bit.
Well, I mean, we were like cashiers for a while.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We had to like substitute.
Ring them up.
We're like going back to our old hosting jobs and stuff like that. No,
Oh, God.
Well, okay,
You got to
but-
break out the
but yeah,
peyote here
you
in a
could-
second. Peyote.
Speaking of helping our colleagues out, there was a time where I felt like I couldn't hide from you if I wanted to. And what I mean by that is you were everywhere on social. You mastered Snapchat. When agents were, forget about dipping their toes in the water of video, they were judging it, had no idea. And you were making these big budget films.
Oh, I love that you remember that.
properties.
That you remember that as.
Of course, man. I've been watching it all. And
He uses that kind of stuff.
and then what happened was, I'd say you hit a point where you did like the sword fighting, the lightsaber video with
Yeah.
Frederick. And
that
then
went too far for you.
no. And then you had this awesome, super thoughtful video with the kids on Stradella where they're like jumping in the pool and shooting gun and all that.
That was good.
Do you feel like being that those videos, let's say, are like 3-4 minutes or more now, do you think there's a space for that in the world that we're in now with the kind of popularity of short form content?
I think it's about short form content these days. I think the long form, like Ennis, he's doing those long 30-minute drawn out videos.
Yes.
I don't like really who wants to watch all of that. I think he built the channel for himself. But do you know how much Ennis is making these days? Do you guys have
Yeah,
a
I know. I'm sure he
clue?
makes a ton.
Like he's making more than
All of
than
us.
all of us.
How does it-
combined.
what's his
It's
biggest
absolutely
stream?
ridiculous.
What's the source of his
He's
biggest
a
stream?
YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber. So
Yeah.
he's making like
He's
$400,000 a month shooting all this content.
How is it- how
and
is
that's
he-
why
who-
today I'm being inundated by like, how many emails do you get from like people, videographers saying, I want to shoot your listing, I want to shoot your listing.
How is he
It's-
getting
it's
paid?
a
Who
lot.
is paying
YouTube.
him?
monetizing
Sponsors?
YouTube, bruh.
YouTube.
He's a tour channel, and YouTube gives him 60% of the ad revenue. So he's a tour channel. But yeah, so you think it's all about short form content? Is that why you decided to create Rila? Am I
Yeah.
saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, is that why? So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, Rila is really to give back to the agent community because I do see a disruptive force coming into play that the MLS is in the future maybe won't be the
Like the go-to
powered-
source.
The go-to source. So I just wanted to be in that game. So I created a tech platform where you could produce short form content and videos. You could broadcast listings even if they weren't your own to give a perspective that you're not going to see anywhere else on the web because you're providing UGC content, and then you become the contact person if you shoot that video or content. And we're using AI to essentially match buyers with those properties. So the more content you shoot and post on the app, it'll actually automatically match you with a buyer that's looking for that property.
Do you have a background in technology before real estate? Were you in technology?
I was tinkering around. I started Pocket Lister. That was my first venture.
Oh, yes.
That was like
we talked about this
that
15
was in like,
years ago.
maybe even like longer. It was
Maybe
like
long
my
ago.
third year into real estate, and then I did Roof Shoot, which was video content.
Remember?
And then I went mobile. I took all of what I learned and pivoted into creating Rila.
So,
So-
do you still want to be a real estate agent, or do you want to sell like
Oh,
a
he never-
unicorn app?
He's never wanted to.
So
This
I
is just a way to fund his startups.
So it's interesting. No, the truth is if you're not in real estate 100%, your business is gonna start declining pretty hard. I hired a CEO for Rila, so I can be 100% on selling real estate.
Sure.
It's my core competency is inspiring agents and selling property, and I built the platform out. So it's we're almost break even. So that's terrific, and
Yeah.
I'm focused 100% on selling real estate.
Why do you think you stopped making those incredibly thoughtful and well-directed videos? Is it because you thought people wouldn't watch anymore?
No, I just started doing different videos.
Okay.
I think. Good question. I just started doing different kind of different content. I've been hiring like directors that I'm meeting out there, being like just to hire them, like this is a cool director. Let me just do your thing. So like that's what I'm doing. So we're talking about digital media, right?
Yeah.
And long form versus short form content and what you have to do. I think everyone's really confused these days because they're like, fuck, what do? I got to do Snapchat. I got to do Instagram. I got to do YouTubes. I got to shoot content. I got to go do, I got to do stories. I got to do reels. Like, oh my God, that's so much stuff. And on top of that, I need to like market myself and brand myself doing all of that. I need to prospect. I need to cold call. I need to door knock. I'm like, where do I start, right? It's very confusing. What I tell people to do, find agents, I say, find the core competency, one thing that you're really good at and you enjoy doing it, and just focus on that one thing. Just do that. If it's door knocking, do a door knock. If it's cold calling, do cold calling. When you're ready to brand yourself, then pick a channel that you want to do and focus on it, because then you're scattered and you're not going to.
It can be
You're not going to get the
debilitating.
results, because at the end of the day, we're here to make money, right? So, and do it for a while and then see if it sticks. Actually, it was kind of a little embarrassing, but one of my agents, she's shooting long form content. She's doing like the Ennis, but for a lady, right? And she's been shooting it for a year. And she turned to me and she's like, I'm in a place where I need money. Will you fund my? Do you need the tax write off? And I'm like, okay, do I need another tax write off? I can tell you that, right? Like a hole in the wall. So the day where I'm like, look, I think you need to like pivot and just go prospecting and cold calling. If you make 2,000 phone calls a week, you're going to be successful, right? End of the day, if you door knock and you hit 50 doors, one person's going to say yes. A week later, I get a call from someone in the West Side. We have 7 homes that are under $50 million. We love her. Can you come this week, because we love her videos and we like you guys to potentially want her to list my homes for me. So I'm eating my words to her, because look, she put in the work.
Being known.
She put in the work. She's getting views on YouTube, and after a year of work, she got a phone call. The guy called me, and I was like, yeah. And they met with her, and I helped her because she hasn't sold $30-40 million homes before. But tomorrow we have ostensibly a listing appointment for a home that's being built, and she's never sold a home for $20 million. So what does that go tell you? It says,
being known is very, very important.
Or sticking with one channel for a little while.
Yeah, consistency.
Keep going. It would be cool if she could also, she was like editing at the same time and shooting these things. It's a lot of time and energy to execute on that, right? But she was consistent, and then it did pay off, right? But at the end of it, end of like a year and a half, I was like, listen, you probably should do something else, get prospecting, get out there. But she was consistent, and it worked for her. So
yeah, I mean, YouTube.
That's important. So I was doing that for a long time.
Yeah. YouTube, as you just described it, is a top of funnel lead or top of funnel pipeline. You've got one pipeline that's top of funnel, and it's not totally working. You have to diversify and have some bottom of funnel, like you saying, like maybe go cold call or maybe go door knock or whatever it is to try to find people that are at different potential stages instead of just kind of deploying hope as a strategy. It can be dangerous.
Yeah, you guys are a great example of this, but our business is all about personal relationships, and they like you guys. That's why I'm always against you two and the top 20 people, because we're built a brand for ourselves, but they're also very likable. So it's a relationship business. So how can you be a relationship when you're shooting content, right? They get to know you, they see you, then they invite you into their world, and then you build that relationship, and you have enough signs out in LA or in the city that you're doing business in, and you get called, right? Because you look like the expert. But
well, there's a great tip in there. Create content that kind of like puts your personality on a platform.
100%. Yeah.
So if people feel like they get to know you, they watch the videos, they feel like they know you, they like you, then they pull you in.
It seems genuine.
That's good,
right? Yeah. and that's
big.
Goes
Write
back
that down.
that goes back to the selfie thing.
Yeah.
So you're looking in the camera, and you're like, you're staring at another person in the eyes, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And then that draws them in, and then boom,
You
either that or it's Selling Sunset with a bunch of beautiful women,
careful
beautiful ladies.
Talking shit about Netflix over here.
So backing up a bit here, you sold what we call the Minecraft house, of course, and I was like 3 years in the business. You guys had a billboard, and I had never even seen or heard of a house selling for $70 million before, even in LA. And I felt like, at least for me, I was like, whoa, we're at a new level now. What do you think it was about that time or that house?
He came up with a model. He offered the full package to the new.
I think we're asking 85, and we got 70. So that was like what, 10% from asking price?
Right,
Amazing.
but you're getting
Does
a
that
lot.
happen
You're
a
getting
lot?
a lot included from that, because you're not just getting the property that is stunning. You're getting maybe the cars and the art and the artifacts and the candy in the candy room.
Yeah, but they didn't get any. They got the candy.
They took the classic rolls.
The cars were gone. But Bruce Makowski, he's a genius at creating those illusions of, it's beautiful. He created like experiences, little art pieces everywhere.
Do you remember your highest sale before that? Around?
I think it was like 40 million. It was 40 million in the Bird Streets, and then it was also 30 million in the Bird Streets.
It
too.
couldn't have been
Or
40 million in the Birds, because that only recently did the Tom Bilyeu house go into the like 35, and then the house.
It was
on
the Wales
Robin.
house. No, it set the trend. It was the old Ricardo Montalban
Correct.
house.
Yeah, I sold that one for 39 million.
But at the time,
that
the
was a cool
record
story.
price, that changed the landscape of high-end
You know who
real
bought
estate
that
in the city.
house?
Of course.
Guys.
Jolo.
Yeah, $1 million. $billion whale.
What do you think it was that? What was the
gonna be-
moment or the thing that happened for you in your business where you were like, okay, like selling these like the big houses like north of 20? Was there a break? Was there a meeting? Was there an introduction? Was there a door knock? What was that moment?
I think it's interesting. Came back full. It was Zach who just sold a house to
Zach Mastami.
Right. Yeah. Right. He's a good salesman. He's likable, and he knocked on a door, and an opportunity opened itself because he pushed himself. He made himself feel vulnerable, and it was scary, and he fucking pushed himself to do it, and it happened. So I would do this. I did the same thing, and I did it years ago, and now it's coming back full circle. I did that maybe 18 years ago. I knocked on a door, and I maintained that relationship, and I'm about to sell a home, for under $100 million this year. because of someone who I picked up did just that. So I did that like early in the days. I knocked on all the coolest stores in town, and I have that in my Rolodex. Now, what I didn't do, unfortunately, I didn't have a CRM back then. So I had my phone. I just put in sell 1120 Chantilly, sell 855 Stradella, and only until recently, and I think we all need to do this, is our database is it's a gold mine. It's a fucking gold mine. We don't even realize it, how good it is, but we just forget to do our touch points. And we're like feverishly running around trying to prospect and get new leads all the time, but tons of our hundreds of thousands of dollars of commissions is left in my phone, and we don't even realize it.
What made you say, like, hey, I'm going to open a brokerage, knowing how hard it is?
Simply put, agents bring leads, and the way I started my business, I did the prospecting, and then I brought in top producers to help me close the deal. As simple as that. So if I can bring in, a couple hundred agents, and 20% of them are feeding me great deals, I'll take 50% of those opportunities and help them close the deal.
What are your thoughts on what's going on here with the buyer agents' commissions? Well, you think they're gonna stay, or are they on their? Are they gonna get? It's gonna be a battle to the bottom.
A veteran broker, and I agree with him. He said that the reality shows destroyed this business in a way, because it looks like they do no work and they make a ton of money. So I think what happened is that all these plaintiffs, they got together and they said, "Look at these guys; they're making too much money," and they and because of that, they all they got together and they won. And they're going to continue winning because of that. And so it's unfortunate that, that those shows have really destroyed our business. They all think this is so easy, and it's not. I mean, I'm sorry I was 10 minutes late for this, but I was just at a meeting with a lady who put herself into escrow for $25 million by herself. And she's like, "Ben, oh my God, he hasn't put his deposit in for a month. Can you give me a notice to perform? And and my contractor just screwed me over for X, Y, and Z. I need a great lawyer." So I gave her that lawyer. And then she wanted, this contractor for something else. And she wanted a videographer. And I gave her all these things for just, and I don't have the listing, right? So we do a lot. I think, come on, the things we do to make a deal stick
so hard.
is unfathomable, right? So
It's so hard.
Unfortunately, these TV shows,
And you think
Jason's
things-
different. Jason crushing it, but
Here's
all
the
the
one thing,
people
though.
underneath him, they look like doesn't make
Well,
our.
but
doesn't-
you're also talking about shows, that
it's
have
okay.
been on before that show the commission earned or the potential commission
Exactly.
earned.
Yes.
And that is that to me was a game changer in this industry of that being exposed. I think social media now is so exposed of everything that I think people see the insights anyway.
No,
You
but
really
those
think
shows
that's
really,
what's crushed it?
but those, yeah, I do. They highlighted, they glamorized that we're overpaid. Did they say like a doctor who just does a heart transplant is making X amount of money? Do they show these do doctors and lawyers get like glass trophies for selling the most homes in a certain year? This isn't brain surgery. I mean, it's very hard, but the brain surgeons don't get like awards, and they don't get glamorized.
I think because
Right?
the brain
You
surgeon.
don't see the
I think-
plastic surgery
No,
shows?
I think
I
because
was just thinking backtracking in my head. I do, but like they're like the botched ones and stuff like
Well,
that.
the barrier of entry to our business is so much lower.
Yeah.
So there's so much more excitement from people who don't make $5 a year to see the people who do work super hard and are
Yeah,
very good
exactly.
at what they do.
I know, but I want to say something about the shows for a second. Is that the difference is that the brain surgery is definitely going to happen no matter what, whereas on our shows in our world, we could do a job for 9-10 months, work with a client for 3 years. They show the commission on the screen, and then we may not actually get it in the real world. I think the challenge with the shows is that they're and on Jason's show too, is that they're always winning, where the truth is like we
Exactly.
take big losses, and that's the problem. And what Jason Oppenheim spoke about on the show is the celebritization of the agents with $1 Million Listing with Josh and Frederick and all these guys. That definitely create an issue for us. I think that for me, what I'm hopeful for in the appeals of these buyer agent cases is that at least on the California residential listing agreement, on the first page, it does say the gross brokerage compensation, but like 2 paragraphs down on the bottom right, it says what we are going to share with the cooperating broker, the buyer's agent. If the seller's not okay with that, and their case is that this is a conspiracy between MLSs and brokerages, we are colluding to push prices up, they can just say, I'm not going to sign a document that says I'm going to pay 5% where you give 2.5% to the other side. This conspiracy argument, I think, is just not going to hold up. I actually don't think they're going to keep winning. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So
Bellick does not think it'll hold up, but Bacal thinks it will hold up and only get worse.
Well, the last thing I was going to say about it is our listing agreement and our purchase agreement is not the same across the country, and I think there are contracts that actually don't show what they're going to share, and I think those states are going to have a lot of trouble.
If you're giving a list of listings that are at 1% or a list that's at 3% or 2.5%, which ones are you apt to show to your client?
What do you mean?
Yeah, his point is if you see 5 properties you're seeing this weekend, and 3 of them are at a 3% commission and 2 of them are at a 1% commission, which ones are you going to push forward?
You guys are acting like they're not finding the listings on Zillow and sending them to me first. Which we both know they're doing a lot. No, I'm just saying that the consumers see everything. They see
Well, they don't see the commission on Zillow, right?
They do. It is on there. Commissions on
now
Zillow,
it's
too.
Now it's on
It's
there.
on-
Commissions are on Zillow?
They
Reported
are.
on
They're
Zillow?
there. But I think the point is that I don't get to decide what listings we're going to see if I'm employed to show them and advise them. It doesn't stop at home search, and they are showing. They're seeing all the listings. Let's say in your guys' example, I just sent.
Well, that's where the whole business got messed up at the begin with, right? When Realtor.com sold to Murdoch, I think that's when it all got screwed up because we gave away our data. When I started the business, we had the MLS. That was the holy grail.
Yeah.
Like no one could get access to properties, and then once Realtor.com sold, all of a sudden we lost our power, and they weren't supposed to do that. And then Zillow and Redfin picked it up, and now buyers can find their own properties, right? So I think we have to now show our value in a different way. The shows that are portraying agents as just like flamboyantly walking in and driving their Ferraris and wearing crazy outfits and like having arguments and making $1 million is not the fucking business. And we have to show our value of what we do every day, all the pain and heartache that we do all day long. We're entrepreneurs just to stay alive. The things that we have to do to keep a deal together, to get into escrow, and to find everything that's involved. The magnitude of things we have to do is excruciating, is painful. It's amazing that you have 2 kids and this how successful you are. It's incredible. All the things you're doing in life. It's just it's a hard business. So what I'm saying.
Rebooted? Yeah.
So
his love language is words of affirmation, and once you gave him started a compliment, I turned to him, and it's wild how he changes. It's wild.
I was lost in his eyes.
So,
where do you think the market's going to go in 2024 as we wrap up here? Where do you think the market's going? None of us can see
I guess
it.
if the interest rates go down, we're going to see an uptick, but there's going to be no inventory. I don't know. I think I'm like a conspiracy theorist. I think there's gonna be some black swan equities crash, and the dollar's gonna hit an ultimate low. And
you think we're gonna see an actual big adjustment?
I think we're going to see a big adjustment at some point. Maybe before the elections, they're going to bring the interest rates down, and then it's going to create hyperinflation, and we're all going to be fucked. I don't know.
So you don't
Gold's
think we've
gonna go
seen
through
the worst
roof.
of it?
I don't think we've seen the worst of it. No, I think these interest rates, this is like the norm. 3% was an anomaly, but 5, 6, this is here to stay for quite a while. And if it comes down to 5, I think it's just going to be, I don't know. I mean, there'll be an uptick for a while, and then it's just gonna. There's a reason why all these big CEOs have sold tons of their stock in the last year, right?
Yeah. 5's palatable, I think, and that's still would be at historic lows.
Yeah, that's when I bought my first property. 5%.
I feel like there's a chance LA becomes a town of renters, because if you look at it right now,
Blackstone's buying all the single family homes. I mean, listen, they account for what?
Not a chance that's going to happen.
I just mean
what,
20%,
I think, of all the single family homes in America. all the Blackstones, the Invitation Homes, so
If
forth.
you own a piece of real estate in one of the greatest cities in the world, you're doing well.
No, really well. That was my point. I think that the gap between affordability and pricing is at its widest in 4 decades, and I think like if you want to buy a house on this side of the hill that doesn't need a lot or doesn't have some wild, crazy vertical floor plan, and in Coanga Pass,
Whoa.
it's $4 million. It's $4 million,
Well,
and in the valley, it's 3.4, 3.5 average. Median household income in LA County, can't get those.
there's some decent deals out there. I'm selling something on Hollywood, like Hollywood Boulevard, like near Queens.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4,500 square feet. The third level is not permitted, but you can permit it, and it's
The third level,
the fourth level, the fourth
roof?
level, the fourth
seems
level,
important.
the fourth level.
Like I said, a vertical name, man.
yeah, but they're all vertical up there.
But what were
aren't
you gonna
they?
say? That it was
I mean,
a
that's like 3.3 million. But like finally, we have a bunch of offers after like being in the market for like 3 months. Don't you guys notice that the homes are actually starting to sell once they like
hit the sweet spot.
once they ferment? It's like they need to like
It's
stay on the
time,
market.
yeah.
It's like they need to like it's almost like
They need to come
they
down
need
to
like, come, like
reality. They
that's
need to
another
be
like
attainable.
like a seller just called me like that the house I just listed for $50 million. He's like, Ben, why haven't you sold the house already? What's going on? I'm like, look, the longer your home stays in the market, the better.
He's a snake charmer.
Sold it for 22
Which is true
mil.
though, because that's what's happening.
Guy
All
got a
these
hell of a
homes,
deal.
they're sitting on the market. They finally go to sell. So if you list it at somewhat the right price,
All right,
then
well, let's-
eventually they're going to trade, right? Like David and James property, that one finally on Tanner, that one finally
Yeah.
is in escrow
1432.
for what 20 it has a 2 in it, right? But
Yeah.
that started at what $32 million.
Michelle Schwartz, she's selling it.
Oh, that's killer.
Is it really?
Yep.
Well, that shows the adjustment made from the interest rate hikes to prices not lowering. Well, there's your difference maker right there. That's why I don't think it's going to crash. I think we're already seeing the adjustments being made.
Ben Bacal, probably the most entrepreneurially creative and
Thank
one of the
you.
most tech-savvy agents, certainly in our market. Thank you for taking the time from your
Thanks,
busy
guys.
schedule to come here on To Live and Buy in Los Angeles. Where can people find you on the internet?
I guess benbacal.com. That works.
And your Insta at Ben Bacal?
No, it's just Ben Bacal Estates.
Ben Bacal Estates. I'm at Ben Bellac, seated next to at Zach Goldsmith 24. Thank you for tuning into another episode, our 49th episode
Wow.
of To Live and Buy in Los Angeles. Zach,
Super bien. Y muchas gracias.